All right, welcome to the House Rich Podcast, where we talk to average people that have done above average things in real estate. Our sponsor for today's episode is Coins and Culture, the home of the world's best home buying tips. Go to Coins and Culture on Instagram to get those dope home buying tips. So today for our guests, we have Rafaniel, the CEO of Stampin Notary Services. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Dave, for having me on. Name is Rafaniel, owner of Stampin Signings. We are your nationwide notary agency. So if you need a notary, whether you're refinancing your home, whether you're purchasing a home, whether you're selling your home, whether you're taking out a line of credit on your home, or if you need a power of attorney notarized, living will, or trust, I built a network of notaries nationwide that fulfill those assignments.
Okay, awesome. So first thing I want to know is how did you get into the notary business? And I don't think anyone is like in kindergarten, they raise their hands like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right. No one says notary. So how did you become business to be a notary?
Right. Yeah. Ain't nobody growing up saying, man, I'm gonna be a notary public one day. That's just what I'm in line with, right? But no, pretty much how I got into the business was so I was a security guard for 6 years. So I mean, you can imagine I did security with doing event security, whether I'm doing the security at the movie theaters, just dealing with all the little badass kids, just dealing with the drunks, all of that. Then I ended up transitioning to doing security for working in the healthcare field. So I used to do security at the mental health facility, which is like another story within itself. And so my last stop, I was working in the food defense industry in a warehouse. And pretty much the highlight of my night was watching cameras, checking bags, and doing golf patrols, and pretty much just doing patrols, going around the facility and taking pictures of trash. Right, really fulfilling work, really impactful work.
All right.
So I always wanted to start my own business, but at the time I wasn't really confident in myself, and I really didn't. Well, at the time I felt like I wasn't innovative enough to start a business or create a product, anything of that nature. Right. So my mom, she's been working in the government for over 20 years. And I knew at one point in time she was a notary public, which she is a notary now. She actually got her just renewed her commission and everything. But at the time, I knew she was a notary public. I knew you could start a business as a notary. So I said, man, let me do some research and let me see how this goes. And so I don't know how accurate the source was, but I was doing my Googles. I was on Google, went on Google search. I just typed in how much do notary publics make on a basis. Again, I don't know how accurate the source was, but it said 50,000.
Okay.
So in my mind, I'm like, all right. Well, at the time, I was probably making around 42 to 45,000 a year. I said, well, if I can make an extra $5,000 and I can do this independently, and I don't got to deal with the nonsense of management, sign me up. And so after that, man, I did my research, signed up through the National Notary Association, did the 6-hour training right after graveyard shift. Took my course, took the training, took the exam the same day, and I found out about 2 weeks later that I passed the exam, and man, I haven't looked back since.
Okay, so it's about 6 hours training, and then you're obviously got to study for the test, I assume, but then you're just kind of ready to go once you pass the test after that.
Yeah, so the online training, so it's a 6-hour training that you could do online, and you pretty much just learning the notary laws, how to spot fake identifications, just knowing what you can or what you can do as a notary. Okay. And once you do the online training, then you can schedule the exam. So once I schedule the exam, once on the day of the exam, they do like a 90-minute refresher where they just refresh you on everything that you learned on the course. And from there, I took the exam, found out I passed, got commissioned as a notary public, and to do the type of work where you can notarize real estate documents. So again, like you purchasing your home, selling, refinancing, take out a homemaker line of credit, you have to take the loan signing agent certification training and exam. So once you take that training and then you pass the exam, then you certified to do those type of documents, which then where you position yourself where you can either have a lender reach out to you, or you can have an escrow officer from a title company reach out to you to sign and notarize documents for a real estate transaction.
So how do you go about building your network? So like you take the training, you're certified, you got your stamp, I guess, but how do you actually go about getting business?
So, I mean, it can go quite a few different ways. So way to get business, initially when I first started out, I wasn't doing any kind of networking at all. I mean, I've been commissioned since 2017.
Okay.
2007. So in 2017, I got commissioned, but I didn't take on any assignments just because I was in my own way. So in our line of work, you want to have a dual tray laser printer. Now, because obviously when you're dealing with real estate transactions, you're dealing with hundreds of documents, and using the inkjet printer is not going to get the job done. So you got to, it's all about speed. So for the first few months, I didn't take on no assignments just because I didn't want to be put in a situation where I'm dealt with a refinance, and then documents have to be printed out on a legal size document, have to be printed out legal size. I only had a printer that printed out letter.
Gotcha.
For the first few months, I didn't take on any assignments. Then I actually stacked up a little bit of money. I said, man, let me actually get the right dual tray laser printer so I can get started. And so once you get the printer, once you get all your supplies and everything, you pretty much just signing up with all the notary directories, signing service companies, and you just pretty much just reaching out to them to join their network. Once you join their network, it just a matter of them reaching out to you for business. And so initially, in the first 2 years, I was just sitting around just waiting.
Okay.
Just sitting around waiting for business. It wasn't until last year where I said, I actually need to get out and really talk to people, because I wasn't really doing that before.
But you waited to COVID to go and talk to people?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to think, right? Because at the time, I mean, I was just getting business. I mean, at the time, it was just if I get an email or if I get a text asking for my availability, I was like, cool. I mean, if I'm getting business without having to talk to people, I mean, I thought I was in a good spot. But COVID changed everything. So COVID changed everything to where I was in a position to where we could do virtual networking. And man, I was doing that. I was doing like 5 of those in a day. And I just saw the value in it from just connecting with a lot of people, whether you're a loan officer, whether you're an escrow officer, whether you're a realtor, whether you was a healthcare administrator. I just took advantage of all these opportunities to connect with the people. And that's how I started to get an influx of business coming in.
So how do you go about finding these virtual networking events?
So I would go on, let's say, meetup.com. I would go up on meetup.com. I would find different business networking organizations online, and they would just present them. And I would just use those opportunities, say, okay, if this is in my local area or if this is somewhere out of state, I'm going to go and connect with them and just introduce myself.
Okay. So what would you say is like an average day for you in the notary business?
What's the average day in the notary business? Let's see. Average day in the notary business. Average day would be, let's say, for example, so let's say for me, if I'm just a notary public, a notary signing agent, I'm just pretty much waiting for people to reach out to me for business, or I can go out there myself and just approach professionals who will be like a power partner in a sense. All right. So let's say, for example, if I already have a relationship with a loan officer, I'm pretty much just connected with them, reaching out to them on a daily basis, just saying, hey, what can I do to help you? Is there anything I can do to help you in your business? And then when that time comes around, they're just going to pretty much reach out to you to see if you're available for any assignments. Or you can have, or if you like, where most notaries, you'll have like a Google My Business listing, or you'll be, or you have a client find you on Google, or you have another platform like Thumbtack where you can get mostly general notary assignments. So with those assignments, those are mostly going to be like your power of attorneys. It's going to be your wills, your trust. Sometimes you may get a person who needs a deed notarized, or they're refinancing your home, or they're purchasing a home. They'll reach out to you for an assignment as well. So for the most part, it's the clients that's reaching out to you for business as opposed to the notary reaching out to them for business.
Okay. That makes sense. And so I know there's kind of like two models. There's the actual like notary that's out there in the field, like kind of doing the work. I think you also do like the middleman part too.
Yeah. So
you find notaries to do the work, and you I guess you just sit back and get whatever your piece of the pie is. But can you talk about those two different models?
Yeah. So let's say you have the mobile notary. So the mobile notary is pretty much the notary. Let's say for example, you need a document notarized, and you contact me being the mobile notary. You may have found me on Google. You may have been referred to me, wherever it is, right? You need a document notarized. I either come to your home, I can meet you at Starbucks, I can meet you at UPS, wherever your location of choice. I'll come to you, and I'll make sure I'll be the notary to stamp your documents.
Okay.
Where the notary agency come in, so what I do is, let's say, for example, if I have the relationship with a title company, I have the relationship with the lender, and let's say, for example, they don't, any of their notaries are not available and they can't find one. That's when they'll come to Stamper Signings. They say, hello, Rafaniel. We have a notary, we have a signing that has to be scheduled for today. Can you find a notary for this assignment? Absolutely, no problem. We can do that. So I've already built a network of notaries who I can contact to fulfill that assignment, or you can go on a couple of notary directories like Notary Cafe. You can go on 123 Notary, Notary Rotary, just a few of those to name. You can just find a notary for them to fulfill the assignment.
What I'm not asking what you make. You can say what you make if you want to, but what's like a realistic total or amount for somebody to make on a either daily basis or yearly, however you want to break it down. Like what's like a realistic income for like just your average notary?
So it is. So if you're doing mostly real estate documents, your average depending. So let me rewind. So if you're just a mobile notary actually fulfilling the assignment and you're doing a real estate transaction, you could be, if you're getting it directly from the lender, it could be between $100 and $250 per appointment.
Okay.
Now, if you're getting it through a signing service, it could potentially be between $85, $150.
Because the signing service, that's the one that takes the cut, like they.
Yep. So they're pretty much they're pretty much the middleman in the transaction. Okay. So let's say you have the title company, you have the signing agency, and then you have the notary. So so pretty much the notary agency, all they're doing is they bring in the notary to the table to make sure they get a client, to make sure they get the document signed and notarized. Okay.
So what would you say to I assume you like what you're doing. Like what would you say to somebody to encourage them to get in the business? Like what are some of the benefits or the pluses?
Man, the biggest benefit is being in a position to buy your time back. I mean that's the biggest benefit of all, because as a notary, it doesn't require 8 to 12 hours of work. I mean, when I was working at security, I was getting paid I think I topped out at 17, 15 an hour. If I'm the notary myself going out to notarize a document, I can get paid $175 just for an hour's worth of work.
Okay.
So if you do 2 of those a day, you're talking about over $300 of work, and you only took like 2 hours to do that. So with most jobs, you may make $80 to $100 for 8 hours of work. But if I'm knocking out 2 assignments and I'm getting paid $175 a piece for both of those assignments for the rest of the day, I'm cool. That affords me more time to spend time with my wife, my kids, be able to do more of the things I want to do, whether that's if I want to improve on my self-improvement development, whether I want to continue to read more books, I want to get educated more, work on my craft. It's all about maximizing your time. So that's the biggest benefit of working as a mobile notary. Another benefit is the exposure.
Okay.
I've been doing this for 4 years, so I've been all over the county, all over. I've been in different households where you get to learn how other people live. You get to learn how the mortgage industry works when you coming across, because you're going to come across different mortgage documents where you got to explain the purpose of the documents to those signers. And you want to make sure they're well educated on what they're signing before they sign their name on those documents. So just for the exposure alone, going into different neighborhoods, meeting different people, and then also the ability to buy your time back.
Okay, makes sense. And so the other side of the coin, like what would you say, not maybe to discourage somebody, but what are some of the every business has negatives. What would you say some of the potential negatives are as far as the business?
As far as the business, potential negatives, potential negatives could possibly be, depends on how you want to structure your business. So I know notaries who don't deal with real estate transactions at all, just because when it comes to dealing with the real estate transactions, if you're getting an assignment through a signing service, you're more than likely going to print out more than 150 pages of documents. So you got to pay for paper. You're paying for gas. We know gas. I don't know where you live, but out here in California, gas is damn near not damn near, it is $5 a gallon. So you're paying for gas. You're paying for the paper. Sometimes clients may, they may want to take their time, going over the documents. So if you're anticipating on being at the appointment for about an hour, depending on who the client is, you may be there for longer than an hour. So you just never really know when you're sitting down with the client. So when it comes to the real estate transactions, printing out the documents, getting gas, driving 10, 15 miles away, depending on where the signing is at. And then the potential for a client that may say, well, I may not like when I seen all these documents, I'm going to postpone signing. So you do have those moments that happen as well. So that
So
could be
you only get paid if they sign. No, you don't get paid for like showing up and going through the motions. Like if they
so if you do, so let's say if you're a notary, if you have to show up to the if you show up to the appointment and the signer says, you know what, I don't want to sign any documents, you'll get a travel fee, but that travel fee may be like $25.
okay.
Or it may be $50, depending on what the signing service you're working with.
Okay. And so like I'm glad you pointed out that there's people that don't do real estate docs, because from my perspective in the real estate industry, I just assume notaries just do real estate docs. So what other things do notaries do besides sign closing docs? So like what are some things?
That's a great question. Estate planning. So if you need a will, you need a trust notarized, you can do mostly those through a law firm. If you need a power of attorney notarized, you can do those. Another aspect of the notary industry, you could do live scan fingerprinting. So if you need to get fingerprints done, whether if you're working with a financial services company, whether you need a background check done, you can get those fingerprints done. Or you can also do what is called apostilles. I'm not too well informed on apostilles, but pretty much what that is, let's say, for example, if you're you're getting married in another country overseas, or you're a foreign exchange student, or you need business documents you're selling a business and overseas, and you need those documents authenticated. You could go to an apostille agent. You go to the Secretary of State, make sure you have your documents on hand to get those documents authenticated, and then you will be all set to go. So there's different ways of getting paid in the notary industry. The most popular is mostly going to be those loan signings, because that's what most people push on you when you first get into the industry.
Okay. And do you have maybe like I don't know, like a wild story or something from your notary business? I know you say you're going into homes and doing all this, or somebody's like, hey, I'm not signing, or anything like any wild stories?
I had a situation. It wasn't a bad situation, but I want to say in December, I had a married couple. They were refinancing 5 properties, and all of these properties were in a trust. So normally, any notaries that's going to be listening to this, they would know that if you're dealing with a real estate transaction, you're dealing with real estate documents, and it's in a trust, you can expect to be there for at least for an hour or up to an hour and a half. So they're refinancing 5 properties. All these properties are in a trust. Now, when you're printing out these documents, you got to print a copy. You got to print a set that's going to be signed, and then you got to print out another set for the signers to keep. So all of these documents were 200 pages each. So I pretty much printed out 10 sets of documents worth, I think 10 sets of documents. They were all, I think it totaled out to 1,000 pages. I ran out of ink that same night. So I bought the ink that day and ran out that same night.
Okay.
So I ended up going out to the client's house, to the client's residence. I was there from 7:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. We was up there all night just signing documents. So that was that had to be the longest. That was the longest signing I've ever done, where it was just like, man, I was there literally from 7:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. I've had signings where some people where, they don't keep their house up. They don't keep their houses up pretty well. Got a funny smell to it when you walk through the door. I've dealt with clients who had shotguns out, had their weapons out.
Out at you? What do you mean? Like just out or out at you? What do you say?
No, not out at me, but just out in the open.
Okay.
For whatever the case may be. I've had people where their house was they just didn't completely keep their house up at all, just straight dirty. You don't even want to sit down at the table. You just want to stand up. You just want to get those documents signed as quickly as possible and get out of there. So every now and then you come across those very interesting signings.
So let me jump back. So you had one from 7:30 p.m. to 5 a.m.?
Yep.
And you knew it was going to be like an 8-hour, like you knew it was going to be like an overnighter basically, or that kind of caught you off guard?
I knew it was probably going to take at least 2 to 3 hours, just because it was 5 sets of documents, but I didn't think it was going to take like close to 8 hours to get done. Like I wasn't anticipating that, but for the most part, the clients, they were pretty cool. They ended up having some señorita bread for me. We ended up having a great conversation, and unfortunately for me, they would live in a great neighborhood. That house was just spectacular. So they treated me like family. It was a great environment, but yeah, I was there from 7:30 to 5 a.m. 7:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. So it was pretty long.
And so like a situation like that, you're just getting paid by the document, or paid, do you get some sort of like overtime, hazard pay? I don't know.
So whatever the fee is for the assignment is what you get paid. So let's say, for example, with that being 5 documents that that require signatures and require documents that need to be notarized, it's almost like you're getting paid. It's like the signing counts as an appointment. So if we get the first set of documents signed, that's going to be 100 pages. So altogether for that appointment, it was a $500 appointment because I was getting paid $100 per appointment, and they condensed that all in those signings. So altogether, I got paid $500 for my time.
All right. Okay. I guess not bad.
Yeah, it ain't bad. $500 for what, 6 hours of work?
Yeah, I would say not bad. I would say actually good. Not bad. That's good. Is there anything that I maybe forgot to ask you, or anything else I should, because like I said, I'm not is it like if you were interviewing a notary, is there something that you would ask them that I wouldn't ask?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, then another thing I want to include is obviously with the stamper signings. The reason for me starting the agency was I was in a position where I was getting a lot of business coming in, and if you try to go out your way and do this solo, you can only do so many appointments in a day. You can only drive around to so many houses. You can only print out so many documents in a day, because I've had moments where I've had 5 or 6 signings in a day, and I was just like done. I didn't want to do nothing else. So, I mean, I'm all about abundance. I'm all about creating opportunities and, just putting money in people's pockets. I know with last year, a lot of people lost their jobs. It lost a lot of hope. Wasn't around. Didn't really get opportunity. Well, people weren't really aware of the opportunities that were available to them. So, this notary business has been life changing for me. I've been able to take care of my family. I haven't had a job in 4 years.
Okay.
So this has been. I've been able to take care of my family because of this. And so, with the notary agency, I encourage a lot of people to get into the industry, because this is a great opportunity for you to buy your time back. With buying your time back is so important to me, because obviously with last year, it was a lot of reflecting that took place. A lot of people were, they spend 8 to 10 hours at work, don't really have time for their wife or their husband, or have time for their kids. A lot of us just sat at home. You got to really sit there and really get to know each other, and it made you realize what's really important. So with, we in the era of the Great Resignation, where you can make decent money without having to spend 8 to 10 hours at work. So this is where the notary industry comes in, where if I got the regular person who's probably making 15, 16 bucks an hour, they got to spend 8 to 10 hours at work just to make probably 150 bucks, for 8 hours of work. Where me as a notary, I can make $150 in just an hour's worth of work. Just imagine how much time you bought back, the freedom that you're able to have.
Yeah.
Just by being just the freedom that you can have, with this business. And so with this business, man, I've been able to focus on me, focus on my family, do things that I enjoy, do things that I love doing that I didn't really have a chance before, because, and quite frankly, when I was doing security, I had no time for family. I missed all the family events, birthdays. I didn't want to take that chance, because this event coming up, I got to work graveyard shift. I don't really know if I can't be up all day, and then I got to be back at work at this time. I'm gonna have to miss it. So I had a lot of time that I missed, a lot of things I missed over the past few years. So to be in this position now where I've effectively bought my time back, I could pretty much find a notary to fulfill an assignment that I can't do, and I can still have time to, do the things I love to do, to make sure I'm there to pick up my kids from school. As a notary, and another thing too, man, as a notary, man, like, bro, there was times where working security, I couldn't even take my kids to school. There would be times where if I did take them to school, I didn't see them until the next day. You imagine going 8 to 10 hours a day without seeing your kids. You wake up in the morning, you see them first thing in the morning, but by the time you get back home, because you got to work, they sleep. You didn't find out how their day went or anything of that nature. You can find out how are they doing. Was anybody at school messing with them? You don't even have time to talk to your wife, have time to talk to your moms, or just family in general. So, man, I'm thankful to be in this position where I'm at now, to where not only I can create opportunities for people that look like myself, but I can also have more time for my family and friends.
Awesome. So where can folks contact you? I know you have some courses as well to help folks. So where can folks find you? Where can folks find you at?
Yeah, man. Tap in with me on Instagram, Rafaniel. That's RAFANYO. That's my personal page. I'm always posting on there, whether it's a new podcast we're doing, new courses that we're putting out. The business page, you can tap in, Stamper Notary, same handle on Twitter. And definitely want to plug in the Smart Notary University. Smart Notary University is just the ultimate educational content just for the everyday person on how they can learn how to get started as a notary. So I pretty much lay out the steps A to Z on how to get started as a notary. Then on top of that, we included the Stamper loan closing workshop inside the Smart Notary University. And this is for people who don't feel comfortable or confident in themselves to explain the purpose of the loan documents. Now, just imagine you purchasing a home, right? And it's like, okay, now I got to have the notary come by to your residence and get these documents signed. How would you feel if somebody just passed you a set of documents and say, here you go?
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, what the hell? Can you at least explain to me what I'm signing? For most people, this is gonna be the biggest financial transaction that they'll ever make. Yeah. So at least explain to me at least what's going on before I sign any documentation. We eliminated the need for that. So once the loan closing workshop, I break down how to explain loan documents, whether you're in a refinance, whether you're purchasing your home, whether you're selling your home, whether you take out a home, make a line of credit. We pretty much want to build help notaries increase their knowledge of mortgage loan documents. And then on top of that, we included the Smart Notary Money, the hybrid model course. And pretty much what this is about leveraging strategic concepts to help set a foundation in your notary business. When you first come into the industry, it's pretty much loan signings. They don't really teach you or really any concepts that are a strategic concept that you can use so you can be smarter with utilizing your time. With that, it's just pretty much I teach people how to set a foundation by having 2 signing services and 2 title companies or lenders who you can work with directly. And it's about again just leveraging your time so you can have more time for yourself and more time for your family. And then we also included the Stampin' Notary checklist. It is a checklist of items and supplies that you'll need before accepting any assignments and then going out into the field. So all of that is included in the Smart Notary University. You can tap in at www.smartnotaryuniversity.com. And the benefit to starting the Smart Notary University is once you take the course, you get everything you need. Then that's when I could be in a position to say, okay, because since you're going through the courses, I'm gonna invite you to the Stamper community, and then if we have any general notary assignments or loan closing in your area, you'll be one of the first people we reach out to, so we can help you get paid.
Oh, okay, awesome. And so, just for you all those links will be either on the YouTube page or in the description as well if you're listening on the podcast. So you'll be able to easily click those links to tap in. And so, my final question is, where do you see your business in the next 5 years?
Ooh, that's a good
or where would you like it to be? I guess maybe they're the same answer. Hopefully,
man. The next 5 years, I see us going global. We can. I didn't even realize until just recently that there's notaries in Australia, there's notaries in Canada. I want to be able. We want to be able to say we took taking Stamper signings global to where we can impact people all across the world. So. Right now we're nationwide, but we want to cross state lines to take it overseas and where we can make a real impact.
Okay, awesome. I think that's it for the podcast. I appreciate your time. Once again, if you guys are looking to get into the notary business, there you go. You have it right there. Make sure you tap in and connect with them. So that is it for the House Rich podcast. We are done. No outro.